DJ, earlier this season, I know in preseason you told me getting back on Ford Field for that scrimmage was you were able to take a deep breath moment. It's like, okay, we checked this off the box. So checking off your first touchdown with the Lions, was that another sigh of relief moment?
Oh, definitely. Just getting back into it, being on the field again, uh, in real game action. It felt good. It got a lot of nerves on my system, and now you practice all camp for week one, but now every week is game week, so it feels more normal and it feels good.
When you watched the tape, what was one thing that jumped out that you liked about the offensive performance, and what's one thing maybe you guys would like to improve going into week two?
Uh, I think the offense was pretty physical. Um, Across the board, receivers blocking, obviously the O-line blocking, tight ends, running backs making great plays. Things that we can work on is just our consistency, our communication out there. Being game one, we kind of missed a few things in our communication, but other than that, I think it's a great, stepping stone to build.
What'd you think of your first Ford Field experience as a Lion in terms of the fan and the energy from pregame throughout? And Dan said it's important to win to hold on to those fans and not dash their hopes so early, because so you can talk what the crowd was like. And
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It was great for that to be my first game, and it's a butt in every seat. It was pretty cool. They was loud. It was great. So now we gotta start putting some wins together so we can make that the new norm.
DeAndre mentioned after the game about the receivers blocking downfield. How important is that? And how important of an element is that in your game to help him?
Well, I think that's kind of just the identity in the room. Uh, I credit St. Brown and Leaf, two of the smaller guys, but they go out there and they get after it. So, I don't have an excuse because I'm kind of bigger. So I don't want to get, showing up every time we're watching film. But it's just in the receiver room, that's something that we take, seriously. But it also opens up the passing game once the ball start moving and we breaking it for 20 yards at a time, then we can get behind guys.
How far does a pass, the touchdown that you had with Slade draped all over you and Goff's kind of tight window pass, how much does that do to build your kind of confidence in your relationship with your quarterback?
Oh, great. I feel like that's something that me and JG was able to do quite often in camp. It was good to see it translate. Now it's time to just make it more smooth, more routine, things like that. But it's great to know that he had that confidence in me to, just throw me a ball like that against one of the considered the game's best corners. And, anytime I get that opportunity, I got to make my QB right.
We talked to Dan on Monday, and he kind of called the drops, the 4 or 5 drops, contagious. What do you guys? How do you guys look at that? Now that it's Wednesday, you've been able to watch the film and digest it.
I mean, we play the game. Our job is to catch the ball. So when things like that happen, everybody take it on the chin. For me, that first one, I did it early on. I got out the way, I suppose. But something that you just don't want to make, constant. But also, you just got to go to the next play and make it happen. And definitely, one thing I can give credit to the offense is I felt like I kind of let us down on that first drive, but they rallied and re-rallied and scored a touchdown. So just having your brothers having your back, but just trying to be as consistent as possible.
I just want to hear a little bit more about your relationship with Jared. It's one thing to do it on the practice field when he's got the red jersey on, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, one thing I could say about JG, I kind of have an idea when the ball is in the air before I turn my head. So that's a good thing. I kind of just have a idea for his tendencies and things like that. And we talk about those things as well. So it makes me more comfortable when I can release and kind of expect to have the ball on this play or whatever. So it's something that we work on, but I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with them on and off the field, so that works as well.
What do you mean? What do you mean his tendencies? Like if you are going to be targeted before the play, or if you're going downfield, he's going to
just
get back
looks,
shoulder.
Just looks. I'm lining up. I see the defense. The play I may not be the one or the option on this play, but just because of the defensive look, the scheme, where the safety is, maybe it's one-on-one press or whatever it may be, whatever route it's called, I have an idea that he's probably going to take a chance on this one. And that's kind of what happened on the touchdown. That play wasn't necessarily designed to go to me, but he liked the look, so I figured he'd probably throw it.
When you get through a period like those three and outs where you couldn't move the ball, what goes through your mind? Is it, are we ever going to get out of this, or the next one's going to get us going?
More so, the next one's going to get us going. You know, within a game is a long time. I don't know how many series we had, but quite a few, you know, in the game. Yeah, so you never want a 3 and out, but we got confidence in ourselves to know we're not going to consistently go 3 and out. It's just unfortunate that our 3 and outs came back to back like that. But once you take those out the equation, I feel like we was pretty successful moving the ball. We just had to, you know, see the chains move once or twice, and we was back in our flow.
Looking at Washington personnel-wise, what players jump out at you on film?
I think their defensive line is definitely a strength for them. You know, you got Kendall Fuller on the outside, and you have Jackson on the other side. Pretty good corners. Jackson pretty fast. You know, it's a solid team. You know, we can't take anything for granted. Just got to go in and play ball the way that we know that we can. We know the coaches have put us in good spots, but we have to execute the plays, and just it's more so about us than them.
Talk about the growing relationship between you and Goff. There was that one miscommunication on a third down during that 3 and out kind of route. Just, you know, those sort of things obviously happen every now and then. I'm curious as to how you saw that play kind of.
That was more one of the things I said about communication. You know, he had to get the ball out of his hands. You know, guy came hot, pressure, get the ball out. You know, it's considered a target, but that was more so him, you know, getting us to the next play, being safe. But, you know, like I said, communication, sometimes, you know, he have to throw the ball away or, you know, things like that. But, yeah, I think that's all that really was on that play.
What's the energy like going into week 2 in the locker room and at practice?
For me, I feel like it's more steady, more calm. You know, it's a lot of build-up for week 1. It's a lot of, you know, off-season talk into camp, into, you know, game 1 is this big spectacle. But then after that, you know, it's work every week. It's game week every week. And I think that's more so what it is now. You know, we got that first game out the way. Unfortunately, we didn't come away with the win, but we know every week we got to reset and we got to play. It's no more the super highs and lows. It's more steady, focusing on the next opponent, putting the plays in, and trying to execute on the practice field.
The ball that Jared throws, how does that compare to a ball that quarterbacks that you've played with in the past throw?
I feel like it's very catchable. It's not, he's not, you know, going back and drilling it at you and throwing it 100 miles an hour, but also it's not like just a little fluffy lollipop ball. So it's right in the sweet spot. You know, and when we're clicking, like I said, knowing where he's going to put it, he's pretty accurate. And so I think that's the biggest thing with him, since having that communication, kind of knowing where the ball is going to be, and he typically put it where expected, so makes it easier.
You say when you kind of know it's coming your way from him, is that spoken? Is that unspoken? Do you guys give each other a look, or how do you know?
He told me he gave me a look on the last play, the touchdown, but I didn't see it. But
We're still working.
yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw the ball, so that's what counts.